Mitaru is a young boy who got accepted into the most prestigious school in Japan, the Y Academy. He attributes his success to the vast amount of luck he has, but hopes that in this school he will learn not to rely on his luck so much. While entering the academy compound, he gets run into by another boy of the same age. That boy is Jinpei, and we learn that he has also been accepted into the academy. A complete contrast from Mitaru, Jinpei seems to be carefree and straightforward in everything he does. With Jinpei is another shorter boy who introduces himself as Koma. He and Jinpei went to elementary school together. Apparently he is pretty bad with both sports and studying, but being around the energetic Jinpei motivates him to do better. He says how the two of them were admitted to the academy because of something called the YSP criteria, rather than their academic performance. But none of them know what that criteria is. The scope of the academy is so big that they even made a makeshift city of students around it, called Academy City. The idea behind it being that it should help students prepare for integration into adult society. On the way to the entrance ceremony, the three of them meet Fubuki, a girl the same age as them. She is a self-proclaimed science girl and loves to create advanced gadgets and the like, one of which are her hover boots that she uses to move around. Mitaru instantly develops a crush on her. During the entrance ceremony, the headmaster is giving a speech, but Mitaru gets distracted by a spirit of a large, fat cat of sorts. Apart from him, only Jinpei seems to notice it. Much to his dismay, the cat spirit keeps following him around other classes, which makes focusing on anything next to impossible. After the classes end, the boys go to the dorms, where he finds the cat spirit in his room. Thanks to that, he gets no sleep that night and complains about it to his new friends. As they are talking about it, the attractive school nurse called Enra walks by. They spot the large cat spirit suddenly giving chase after her and follow up to help her. They catch up with Enra and the cat spirit in an alley. It seems that the cat is only interested in something inside Enra's bag, so she leaves it behind and runs away. However, she stops soon after and observes what happens next from behind some cover. Jinpei and Koma start fighting with the cat spirit, and we can see they are able to use supernatural powers to enhance their attacks and defeat the cat. Mitaru figures out that this is what that YSP criteria must have been. Enra seems satisfied with what she saw and walks away after discarding the bait she used to get the cat to come after her. Since Jinpei is the one that delivered the finishing blow, the cat spirit becomes attached to him, following him wherever he goes. Enra then invites Jinpei and Koma to her office. Mitaru happens to overhear that and follows along in secret. Enra explains to them that they were selected because of their potential to interact with yokai, ghosts, and other spiritual beings. She gives them special watches that they can use in order to enhance their abilities by using metals, which they obtain from spirits that they defeat or manage to get along with. Enra tasks them with the duty of ridding the academy from evil spirits that plague it, and noticing the eavesdropping Mitaru, she tells him to lend them a hand as well. Their first task becomes to take down a delinquent named Mira. Apparently, he is using some kind of supernatural power to beat up anyone that gets in his way. The trio confronts Mira in his hideout, and they learn that this supernatural power he is using is in fact another spirit named Kazuma. A fight breaks out and Jinpei uses the watch he got from Enra, summoning the cat spirit that gave him its metals. The cat is not strong enough to defeat Kazuma, so Jinpei uses another ability of the watch. Combining his powers with the cat spirit, he transforms into a new form with the appearance of a samurai cat. They clash blades and Jinpei uses a special move to defeat Kazuma. Seeing that Kazuma did not make it, Mira jumps into the fight. Jinpei wants to fight him fairly, so he reverts from his transformed form, and they fight it out as two humans. In the end, Jinpei is victorious once more, accomplishing their first objective. From Mira, they learn that he became a delinquent only because the mafia offered to pay for his tuition, since his mother could not afford it after she got hospitalized. Jinpei feels sorry for Mira's situation and promises to do whatever he can to help him out. Mira is touched by the gesture and joins up with Jinpei and the others, changing his ways. Mira is given one of the special watches, and they form the YSP Club. Even though Mitaru does not have a watch, he becomes a member as well. Fubuki also ends up joining the club. The headmaster then invites the whole club to his office, where they are given their next task. Namely, his daughter Emma is possessed by a spirit that wants to kill her. Because of that, she was isolated at the nearby Sword Tower, and so the teen ventures to the Sword Tower. Arriving at the tower, they learn that the stairway is in such a horrible state that only one person could be supported by it without the risk of it collapsing. Jinpei ends up being the one to climb the stairs, and along the way he meets a pink squirrel named Momo. He frees Momo from the trap it was in, but the struggle with that trap destabilized the stairway, causing it to collapse. Running up as fast as he could, Jinpei reaches the top, but the squirrel does not, and ends up falling to its death. The spirit of the squirrel gets absorbed into Jinpei's watch, as it was grateful to him for helping out. On top of the tower, Jinpei finds Emma in her room. However, she does not seem to be aware of any spirit, and Jinpei is unable to sense any spirits around. Contacting the rest of the group, they decide to save Emma from the tower anyway. Using his watch to summon the pink squirrel's spirit, Jinpei takes Emma and floats down on Momo's back. Emma looks at Jinpei and begins developing feelings for him. Once they return to the Academy City, they celebrate Emma's safe return. The headmaster comes to greet his daughter, and they rush into each other's arms. It is then that the spirit possessing Emma makes its appearance, jumping out of her and devouring the headmaster. A fight against the evil spirit breaks out, and Jinpei and Mira transform. Thanks to their strong transformations, they work together to slay the evil spirit. In order to show her gratitude, Emma invites Jinpei to an expensive restaurant. There she confesses her love for him. As she does, she suddenly transforms into a snake-like monster and quickly makes her escape. The rest of the group was spying on Jinpei and Emma, so they quickly meet up with him. Fubuki explains that there is something in this academy called the Curse of Forbidden Love, and anyone who confesses their love to someone ends up dropping out. The headmaster is not happy about hearing that. While throwing a fit, he orders them all to figure out a way to save his daughter, or there will be serious consequences. Back in their club room, they are trying to figure out more about this mysterious curse. Mitaru brings the list of all the students that have dropped out of the academy in a similar fashion. From it they learn that all victims had been attending club activities within viewing distance of the club, which is attended by Kyubei, the most popular guy in school. The group decides that he must have something to do with it, so they go and confront him. He refuses to tell them anything useful, and a fight breaks out between him and Mira. It turns out that he has a watch much like they do, which he uses to transform in the same way they do. Enra happens to be nearby and distracts Kyubei, resulting in Mira knocking him out. They all go to the nurse's office, and there they find out he was looking into the same mystery as they were, under Enra's instructions. With his information they learn that anyone who confesses their love transforms into a snake-like monster, and slithers away to some unknown location. Thus they develop a plan, setting up a false confession between Mitaru and Fubuki. The idea being that they will all follow the one who transforms into a snake to their hiding location. However, during confession time, Mitaru is too nervous to confess to Fubuki, because he truly has a crush on her, and it is not just an act for him. While they are struggling, Enra shows up, which causes Kyubei to profess his love for her, turning him into a snake instead. Kyubei starts running away, but the rest of the group gives chase. It is harder to keep up with him than they expected, and Kyubei ends up shaking them off. Thankfully, Koma planted his tiny spirit on him to track him during the chase. With his guidance, they find out the lair where the snakes are hiding, which turns out to be the gym. In the gym, they run into Enra again, who claims to be there because she felt a strange presence, but Mitaru disputes that. Going full detective mode, he deduces that Enra is the one behind it all. After all, as a school nurse and the author of books related to love, she would be able to easily learn about students' romantic inclinations. At that point, she would place the curse on them. She was merely using Kyubei to create more love-struck girls, and once she had no more use for him, she turned him into a snake as well. The reason she put a curse on Emma was to have the headmaster's daughter among her hostages. Enra drops the charade and summons the transformed snakes to fight on her side before being taken over by the evil spirit that is possessing her, Medusa, causing her to transform. Jinpei and Mira transform as well, this time aided by Koma and his transformation. Thanks to Koma, they are able to remove the curses from the snakes, reverting them back to their human forms. Being freed from the snake form, Kyubei transforms and joins the fight against Medusa as well. With combined forces, they manage to bring her down, or so it seems for a moment. She does not give up easily and instead begins absorbing all the pent-up emotions and energies from all the students on Academy grounds. That allows her to transform into a more powerful form, the grotesque demon, Tagiros. With her new power, she manages to revert the transformations from Jinpei, Kyubei, Mira, and Koma. Afterwards, she goes on a rampage and begins demolishing the facilities around the academy. Fubuki gets an idea and quickly organizes some students to make a performance, which they use as an outlet for their pent-up emotions. This proves effective as Tygeros gets her power sapped and reveres back to Medusa. Even then, Medusa refuses to give up and uses her final special move. With the meteor headed towards the academy, the headmaster activates the emergency mode. This summons all the other students into shelters before transforming the academy itself into a large mecha. He gives the control of the mecha to the students. Using the mecha, they destroy the meteor and put out the fires started by the debris that ran down behind them. Just as they thought it was over, the remnants of the meteor turn out to be a meteor monster, Mediogon, and so they end up fighting the large meteor monster with the mecha. The fight becomes a wrestling match in which Mediogon gets defeated. But instead of giving up, he starts a self-destruct explosion countdown. In order to save everyone, they start charging up the mecha's finishing move. The punch will send the mecha's fist flying into Mediogon, but as they are charging it up, they realize that Emma is still in the school. Apparently she went to save the class pet rabbit they left behind. Jinpei rushes to her aid on foot, while the rest keeps holding onto the fist. Navigating the school corridors is difficult due to their new orientations as parts of the mecha, but eventually Jinpei manages to reach Emma and a rabbit. Getting out proves to be another challenge, but thanks to Fubuki's emergency grenade that she gave him beforehand, he manages to blast open a hole for them to leave through. Just in time too, as the fist was beginning to fall apart. Giving the others green light to attack, they release the fist and it hits straight into Mediogon, sending him flying into orbit where he blows up. Everyone comes out of the mecha to celebrate with Jinpei and Emma, but Medusa comes back to her senses and transforms yet again, this time into a monster called Tamago. In this new form, she quickly spits some glue-like substance, rendering the students unable to move or transform. Mitaru is the only one left standing, but he does not possess any special powers to fight. Even so, he charges at Tamago and gets tossed around like a toy. Just as he is about to give up, declaring that his luck cannot help him here, Jinpei encourages him to keep going, saying how it is not luck that helped him, since luck does not exist. Instead, it was all his choices, abilities, and determination that set the field for him to appear lucky. Thanks to that, Mitaru remembers his grandfather's words, and it gives him courage to keep on fighting. He picks himself back up and uses a huge mace made out of some rubble that was nearby to knock down Tamago. While knocked down, more debris falls onto Tamago and explodes, finishing off the monster. Mitaru is proud of his accomplishment, and Enra comes to her senses, congratulating him on a job well done. Fubuki mentions to others how he actually did get kind of lucky, since the other spirits pinched in to help him. It is then we see that the spirits they befriended placed the mace next to Mitaru and helped him carry it. Koma asks Fubuki not to tell him that, in order to not crush his newfound confidence. With that, the case is solved, but Mitaru wonders what is going to happen next. Hey, thank you for staying all the way till the end. If you enjoyed the video, give it a like. It takes only a second, but it means everything to us. Have a great day and see you in the next video.